All right, Alina, I do want to hear, because we all fell in love with you, with your music career. You're absolutely stunning and gorgeous. I'm wondering if you're modeling in Buenos Aires. Tell everybody an update on your music and modeling career.
So with the music, I've got a couple new songs coming out that I collaborated with my friend. And actually one song is in Spanish and I've kind of like rapping in Spanish. Yeah, it's really funny. So I'm kind of like making it to the Argentine scene of music. I don't know. Oh, it's back.
It's back. We got the power back, everybody.
The power is back.
Alina lost power mid interview, and now we're back. Okay, keep going. This is great.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that, and also I'm planning, of course, here to perform, to organize something, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm excited. Yeah, and I'm looking for people to collaborate with. So far, I don't really know a lot of people yet, but you know, I'm getting there.
You're getting there slowly but surely, and with the music and then also the modeling. Yeah, you're stunning. I loved the modeling that you did. Oh my God. You were like so comfortable in front of the camera.
But only like this angle, only the best angle. This is my work inside.
Oh my God. Well, I can't wait to see who you date next. You and Caleb or something else. By the way, are you watching 90 Day Fiance now?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, do you have any couples that you really like? Now we have like an amazing connection, so I want to ask you like 8 more questions. I won't. Okay,
but it's okay. I have time.
All right. Well, then I'm going to ask you about Caleb. I mean, you know, Caleb was so kind about the ending of your relationship. What, from your perspective, because you know, and we're going to talk about 2 sides to every story, but why did you and Caleb end?
Well, Caleb, he didn't want to commit and he thought it would have been very difficult with me. And from one point, I get it. Other part of me screams ableism. But, and the other part of me, and I told him about it because when we were in Turkey, it's different than when I like lived in Russia, you know. In Russia, everything was adjusted to me. Everything was much more comfortable. I could move around much easily because I had a car and I was very independent. And a lot of people actually think that like Elijah is my nurse or my helper, my assistant. But no, yeah, he helped me out sometimes, but there were times when we wouldn't hang out for like a week, wouldn't really see each other. And I always strive to be as independent as I can and try to sometimes be creative with the stuff that I need to get done, you know. It's a little bit exhausting, I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes you have to like really think everything through and the head. Yeah, ahead of time, but it's okay. I'm used to it. It was always like that, so it's fine. And yeah, and with Caleb, it happened the way it happened. I don't have any how do you say, like, I don't have any problems with him. I understand him, and it was also partly my fault that I was so upset because I made the assumptions and some expectations, and it's not his fault that these expectations they weren't met, you know.
And you know, I said this to Caleb, but I really wanted like you and Elijah and Caleb to have a threesome, but it never seemed to happen, did it? Like
no. But Caleb is not into guys. Sorry, huh?
You guys were all hot. Elijah seemed like he was into Caleb. I guess Caleb wasn't into Elijah, so it never happened. But well, okay, you've been so kind and generous with your time on today's episode. What do you want people to know? You know, is there anything else you would like people to understand or think about when it comes to you?
Yeah, I really want people to just be aware that when something happens, when there is a story, there is always 2 sides of the story. And yes, sometimes it can mean that the person is awful, but how can you be sure if you haven't heard both sides, you know? And also just jumping on a bandwagon, I don't think it's a very smart thing to do, you know? It's better to, if you really care about the topic, and if you are care so much that you are ready to send a lot of hateful messages, just kind of find out uh, what happened, what really happened. And also I want to say that cyberbullying is a thing,
Mm,
and some people they can suicide because of that. You never know
sure.
how a person, even if person did a mistake, you don't know how their mental state is, how strong they are, how thick of a skin they have. So, you know, like with my situation, I when this happened, I so many things about me everywhere I logged in. Like I would go to YouTube and I would see like some new video about me from the person I wasn't even subscribed to, because it was like
Your name.
recommended to
It was
me.
like, yeah, your name came up. Right, right.
Yeah, and then I would go to Twitter, same thing. I would go to TikTok, same thing. I didn't even need to like go to Reddit or something to see what people are saying. And actually, I stopped going to, in the beginning, I was like very interested and scared too when the first episode came out. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to see all the
Yeah.
comments. But then, yeah, but then you just get really curious. But after a while, you get a little bit exhausted about how people twist things. You never like even could think that they would twist it that way, you know? You were like, wow, I never imagined people might think so. Okay. So yeah, just be mindful about that, and be more careful with people, because we are, in the end, we are pretty fragile, and
Yeah.
we have feelings, and I don't know, even the worst people, they still have something good in them, I think. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, we all make
Just
mistakes too. So many of us make mistakes, and I think what
yes.
I really heard, which was an interesting point that you said on this show, is like for you, because of cultural differences. I mean, you just didn't know what, and I think there's always, like, I have this discussion with people often, is there's racism and then there's just ignorance to what some
Yeah.
other culture is going through. And like you said, is
Yeah.
like you didn't even know. You wished someone had even DM'd you, and
Yes.
kindly said, hey, what you're posting it could be offensive to people. I mean this with love. I'm saying this to you, and this is why. Kind of like what Dr. Honda ended up doing
Yeah.
for you was really helpful.
You know, it's very interesting too, in a way that 90 Day Fiance, it's about dating someone from abroad, dating someone from a different country, different
Yeah.
culture. So this, the whole show is about that. But for some reason, people think that you have to know how things are in the US. Okay, so I ask you, do you know how things are in Russia? Do you know how things are in Argentina? Like, there is some racist stuff going on here too. And for people, it's like all fine. They don't care about it. So,
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it is, and people do have that discussion. I think people are discussing that more here in the United States.
mhm,
We've made so much progress, which is amazing. And of course, we still have
mhm,
leaps and bounds
yeah,
to go. But you go to other countries, you go to European countries, you go to other places, I mean, people would be shocked by the racism that goes on there,
exactly.
that we don't even like here, you would never do. And then the things that are happening in other countries are like
Exactly.
10 times worse.
And
Yeah.
also, this situation with me, it provoked a lot of ableism from other people, which for me, it's also kind of mind blowing, because if you think that racism is bad, why do you think ableism is fine? It's just as bad. It's a discrimination of someone who can't change the way they are. So it just really, I was so shocked. You
And
know, if
people,
you,
because of those posts, people then started attacking you about in an
yes,
ableist way. Okay, so they would say things about your dwarfism or whatever. They felt that they could then. I know, isn't that the crazy part? Is like,
it's crazy, and I think that the majority of people, not everybody, of course, are just hypocrites. who, if you think I'm so awful, why are you being so awful too right now, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my main question that I had when this situation.
Do you think, or maybe you had this conversation with 90 Day producers, but do you think they missed an opportunity to bring you back, to bring you and Caleb back, to give you a platform? You know, you're here today. I'm honored you're on my show talking about it.
Ah, nah.
Do you think they missed an opportunity for you to share everything you've shared with me on, you know, the tell all or on their network? Was there ever even a discussion of that? Did they ever say, hey, you know, if you address these in a certain way, we'll keep you back on the show or let you come back?
You know what? I would be happy if someone offered me to address this situation.
Mm.
I I never like am intimidated to talk about it. Yes, I felt bad that it happened. I felt ashamed. I posted this, but I was never scared to talk about it, you know? But I wasn't offered. And I think it would have been very educating for a lot of people to address it, to talk about it. And as we did with Dr. Honda, there's like a lot of interesting things. And I feel like he also learned something on this situation. And the main point is that we all are sexists, racists, homophobes, ableists in some ways or another. It's just so deep in us, and we are just starting to wake up. But some things can be like so casual, you know, like you say something, don't think about it much because your parents said it and your grandparents
Sure.
said it. So it's just so deep in the culture, in the system. So it's very, very hard to get rid of it. Even if you try, you still need to learn, you still need to like talk to people who experience discrimination. So I think it would have been very beneficial, but I was never offered anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Any of the other couples on Before the 90 Days on your season that you are still in contact with or you really like?
I'm a little bit in contact with Jessica. She's Ben's friend.
Yep. Yep.
I really like her. I think she's great. Uh, Other, like the majority of cast members, after this whole racism thing happened, they unfollowed me. I don't know why. I even approached them and I was like, what's the problem? Why did you unfollow me? I want to know, you know, because
Yeah.
we talked a lot actually and supported each other, going through the same thing. Yeah, some of them, I'm not gonna like name people, but some of them were like, oh, I really love you, you're so amazing, blah blah blah, like talking a lot. They just like never even responded me, you know. And I was like, okay, probably it was kind of fake, but yeah,
Right.
that's okay.
Right. Um, okay, what is next? Do you think you'd ever do another reality show? Would you be open to it? Would you ever go back on TV or are you done with television?
Mm, I would think about it. Would have been interesting because like 90 Day for me, why did I do it? Because I wanted people to see that people with disabilities, they can also have struggles in relationships that are not even only connected to disability, and we can all also date, and we can also like be sexual and stuff, uh, because most of the times people think, oh, you're disabled, you're such a good friend, or like you're asexual or something. No, it's not like that, and it's not like we are all innocent. So there's so many stereotypes. So I wanted just to show the other side. And the other reason why I wanted to be on is just it's a fun activity. It's so
Yes.
interesting, you know. It's such a unique experience too, and you get to do something. You get to meet people. It's cool.
I
So
I loved how sexual you were. And I don't know if you watch, there's a show also on TLC called I Am Shauna Ray, and she has a form of
I saw
pituitary
a bit.
dwarfism. Yeah, she's been on my show. She's amazing. And I wanted to know, they had her go out on a date, and I was like, okay, have you had sex? And she was like, yes, I've had sex. And I mean, I'm so curious about those things. Like, I want to know that about you. Like, are you out like having sex like everybody else? I assume yes.
Yeah, of course. And when people would, I mean, if I want to, sure. And if I don't want to, okay, bye boy. uh, people like also talked a lot about how thirsty I am. But like, I'm just comfortable with what I want, I'm comfortable with my desires. And the other question is, what's so bad about being thirsty? I'm like not harassing
Nothing.
anyone. I'm not hurting anyone. Sex is good. It's free. Well, I mean, depends, but let's not talk about I mean, there are situations, obviously. Like, it's free. It's good for health. If you
Yeah.
use production, good for health. You don't get fat. Like, it's only a good thing, and if it's consensual too, of course. There's so many like things about like body
Yeah,
has
right.
to be
We don't have to go
body
there.
has to be consensual.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's so cool. Maybe you should do like a whole sex show. I feel like I just want to like see you like all your sex stories.
I actually, like a while back, I had like a blog,
Yeah.
anonymous blog about my sex life, about my experiences.
I want to hear it. Oh, what? How do we make this public? Are you going to like share more? I want to hear all about your sex stories. I mean, do guys like fetishize you? Like, am I saying it right? Like,
Yeah, it's right. Oh, it's actually kind of a big issue. I feel like some of the guys who I've been with definitely fetishized me, but they didn't talk about it, because when a guy just tells me directly, like, oh, well, always wanted to be with a woman like that, I feel weird. I know for some people it's fine, but I feel weird in a way that, hey, excuse me, I'm also like smart and funny and blah blah blah. So 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 it always like really offends me when a guy sees me only as a little person, as a little woman, because I feel, and maybe it's very arrogant, but I feel I'm much more than that, so
yeah,
when they say it, I'm like, oh, nah, bye.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is your type, by the way?
Okay, I like it's different, but I do like good looking guys, and good looking for me, it's a pretty broad, um how you say that, broad definition for me.
Okay. Broad.
But I like when a guy has a nice smile, and when he's like has wide shoulders, and I love when he's fun. Like if he's like sad and like, oh, so boring. But I like when we can just laugh, like we can flirt. I mean, I really love when guys are confident, because I tried dating someone not really confident, and they kind of bring these problems to you, like all their insecurities. And to be honest, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like confident, fun guys, chill, somewhat smart.
Yeah, they got to have some brains to be with you. Okay, I
A
love
little.
you. I could keep you forever because I want to ask you all kinds of. I could ask you everything else about your sex life, girl. I need to I need to know it all. How many blowjobs you're given? Like, I mean, I need to hear it all. Like,
I don't know this number. I don't know some. I'm bad with numbers.
girl, I need to hear it all. And if the men in Buenos Aires are hot,
Oh my god, I'm tired of having crushes all the time. Like we went to like this electronic store to ask about something, and there was like this guy with the mask on, and I was like, perdón, puedes ayudarme, and like, just, "Hey, can you help me?" And he takes off his mask, and I'm like,
oh my God, they're
the
so
hell.
hot. The guys in Buenos
Yeah.
Aires, gorgeous. Oh
Yes,
my
yes.
God.
It's very dangerous here. But no way I want to go back to Russia.
Yeah, no, I think the Buenos Aires guys are even hotter than the Russian dudes. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, Russian guys are not very hot. I'm telling you. Like, I'm really sorry, but there's like so few hot guys, and here I'm like, I don't know, like, because I've already seen so many cute guys, and even like the cute guys don't even seem that cute to me anymore because they're also good looking.
Oh my God, Alina, you're
Yeah,
gonna
you should visit.
I want to come visit. I would love to come visit and you and I do like a podcast. Like I would be asking you so many sex questions. Like I want you to come on and tell the whole thing. And like I want an awkward sex, like I want an awkward sex story from you. I mean,
Which one?
I have so many personally. Like when I lived in Ireland for a year, there was this Irish guy that I was crushing on for so long. I finally was going to hook up with him. And he like left my apartment immediately and I couldn't figure out why. I was so drunk.
Wow.
I had a whole roll of toilet paper stuck in my pants that was coming out the back. And it was so fucking embarrassing. Anyway.
Wow. Okay, now you got me intrigued. I want to know now. Now I want to ask you all the questions.
Please, I have like the craziest sex stories. They're like the worst. I mean, oh my God. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, I'm living. Yeah. I'm living for that.
I got like a cock ring stuck inside me once too. I didn't have to go to the hospital, but it was close. Cassie's like, I'm logging off now. Okay, one last awkward. Any awkward sex stories you're willing to share?
Let me think. Well, once it was really awkward with one guy because he was like sniffing me a lot. And I was like, oh my God, that just started like making me feel very self-conscious. And I would be like, because we were like watching a movie, and then he would like take my hand and like kind of caress it. And then he would start like sniffing it. And I was like, what the hell? And then he would be like very close to me and I thought he was like about to kiss me, but no, it was like sniffing me here and stuff, and I was like, that's weird. Yeah, and I even like addressed it. I was like, why is it like a thing? He's like, yeah, I just really love it, and I'm like, okay.
That's pretty good too. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alina, where do people follow you? You have a huge Instagram following and YouTube. Tell people where they can follow you.
Yeah, YouTube, Instagram. I also have a Patreon. And actually on Patreon, sometimes I post comics about my dating stories in Buenos Aires. I draw them. So yeah, they can find it on my Patreon. What else? And people can follow me on Spotify too.
And what's your name what's the name on Instagram? Is it at Alina?
At Alina Kasha.
Kasha. Awesome. All right. It was great. Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much.